I wonder what about.
We're good. All set. Well, good evening, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, and we welcome you to the regular meeting of the Burlingame City Council. For our hardworking staff who enjoyed the federal holiday and members of the public who got a day off yesterday, hope you had a restful holiday, and we're glad you joined us tonight, whether you're online or in person. So we're calling the meeting to order at 7 p.m. And we will start at this point with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, if you could lead us in roll call, please.
Councilmember Brownrigg,
Yes, here.
Councilmember Stevenson,
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Here.
Vice Mayor Beach,
Here.
Mayor Coulson, absent.
Thank you. Mayor Coulson couldn't be with us tonight, but it's my honor to chair the meeting in her absence. Item number 4, request for AB 2449 remote participation. There are no requests. We did not have a closed session, so we are moving on through item number 5. And we do have a number of upcoming events, so bear with me and I will list some pretty amazing things going on in Burlingame. First and foremost, in light of the storms, please join members of our city council if you haven't already and consider adopting a drain in your neighborhood, a storm drain. We have 180 adopters out there, and it helps our city if we have neighborhood eyes on keeping litter and leaves free of our storm drains during season. So you can even name your own drain. Mine are called the Beachcombers. And we look forward to keeping our city drains and streets as safe as possible during the storms. We have tomorrow night at the library, Community Poetry Open Mic Series, Wednesday the 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Lane Room. The featured reader will be Peter and Carol. So join us at the library. On Thursday, the 22nd, for our senior community, 55 and older, there is a Roaring Camp train ride in Felton, which promises to be amazing with beautiful, spectacular views that travel via train to the summit of Bear Mountain. Lunch will be served, so be sure to call the Parks and Recreation Department to reserve your slot. This coming Saturday, February 24th, Burlingame Neighborhood Network will be in the Sequoia Room at the Community Center between 9 and 10:30 with none other than our Chief of Police, Mike Matucci, where you can meet the chief and ask him questions. So we hope everybody who would like to learn more about public safety and meet with members of the Burlingame Neighborhood Network will join. This Saturday, also later in the afternoon, you can travel back to the Lane Room at the library. There'll be a mending workshop, pretty cool. Saturday, the 24th from 11 to 12:30 p.m. Learn basic clothing repair techniques. And let's say you have a ripped pair of pants or a hole in your sweater, come with those items and learn how to fix them yourself. Very great sustainable work. On Sunday, the 25th, between 2 and 4 p.m. at the Lane Room, the Burlingame Historical Society will have a program called Burlingame Then and Now with images of Burlingame from the past and the present. Moving on to March, early March, we have some great activities. On March 8th, there is still space for Kids Night Out. So if kids want to go out on the town, and parents might want to as well, call the Parks and Recreation Department. Friday, March 8th, there will be a St. Patty's Day theme. A new event at the Park and Recreation Department is called Let the Sunshine In Walking Club, which is made possible by the Peninsula Healthcare District Community Grant. It sounds like a great event where everybody is welcome to meet at the community center on second Tuesdays at 10 a.m. The first one is taking place on March 12th. And for about 45 minutes or an hour, there'll be a walk through our beautiful city of Burlingame, and a picnic lunch will be provided after the walk. So it's a great idea to get moving, get out there, meet some new friends. Pre-registration is required. And finally, on Monday, March 11th, between 3 and 4 p.m., there will be a St. Patrick's Day Tea, which is a free event for our seniors 55 and up. There will be tea, Irish bread, and live Irish dancing. You can call the Parks and Recreation Department for more information and be sure to RSVP. Colleagues, any other community events that we would like to make our friends aware of? Seeing none?
Actually,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
if I might, on our behalf, we are in the middle of it, but the start of Chinese New Year is since our last council meeting. And so I'd just like to say Gong Hei Fat Choi, Gong Si Fat Sai. Happy New Year, Year of the Dragon. If you're born in this year, you are charismatic and powerful and smart and lucky. And it's not my birth year, but I hope it might be somebody in the audiences. So Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Brownrigg. Any other items? All right, then we are going to be moving on to item 7 is presentations. We don't have any presentations tonight. Item number 8, we are taking public comments that are not agenda items. And this is the opportunity where members of the public can speak to the city council about anything that's on your mind. Or you can request or suggest an item for future council agenda. Our Brown Act law requires us from acting or commenting on any public comments that are not on the agenda, but we are always able to listen. So would there any members of the public who would like to join us here at the live mic tonight for public comment? Seeing none in the audience, I'll ask the city clerk, do we have anyone online?
No, we do not.
Okay, then we will close public comments. Moving on to item 9, we have a full consent calendar. Do we have anybody who would like to pull an item from the consent calendar? Colleagues, none, and
We need to pull item 9F.
9F. Okay, and
from-
city clerk, do we have any members of the public who wish to pull an item?
Yes, a member of the public would like to comment on 9E.
9E. Okay, so we will be pulling items 9E and 9F.
Madam Mayor, if I might make a motion to approve items 9A, B, C, D, G, H, I, J.
Thank you for the motion, Councilmember Brownrigg. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Stevenson, and we have a protocol where we do roll call votes. Oh, yeah, we don't need a public comment for that.
Councilmember Brownrigg,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Beach.
Yes. Motion carries. We now will discuss, we will pull item 9E off, turn it over to the city clerk.
Sure. We received an email on this one from Dustin Chase. He says, "Thank you for passing a combustion engine powered leaf blower ban. I'm sorry to have missed the hearing on the ordinance, but I have an enforcement concern. Is the city official required to witness the violation? If so, this ordinance will fail. The landscaper will be gone before a city official could get to the property. We see this problem in Palo Alto, which resorted to a full-time leaf blower enforcement officer. This is unnecessary and inefficient. Instead, use citizen affidavits. That is how Washington, D.C. does it, and it is proven to work. I understand it's late in this process, but we'd rather have no ban than an ineffective one. Thank you, Dustin Chase of San Francisco, previously San Mateo."
Thank you, Mr. Chase, for that public comment. Staff, would we have any
Say what Rachel will do.
comments?
So, why don't you go ahead and start?
Thank you for having me tonight. We did talk to our code enforcement officer when we saw this comment, and she explained that she does not need to be present when the violation happens. The complaint can come straight to her, whoever may see it, and she would send out a notice of violation. And then if the complaint continues, then she would send out a warning letter and then a notice of violation. But she says it seldom gets to that point. So we basically do already what he's proposing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Michael, we appreciate that staff response. And Segal is our sustainability coordinator. Colleagues, do we have any additional questions on this item? Okay, maybe we'll open it up to members of the public to see if any other members of the public have questions or comments on this item. Seeing none, any more online? Nope. Nope. Okay, would we like to entertain a motion on item 9E?
So move to approve item 9E.
I second.
Okay, thank you. Motion made by Councilmember Ortiz, seconded by Councilmember Stevenson, and we'll do a roll call.
Councilmember Brownrigg,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson,
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Beach.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 9F. Sounds like that's pulled by staff.
So we had a bid protest on that one, so we just need to cancel it for now and
Ah.
back to you with a revised contract as soon as we can, because we need to get that work done. Thanks.
Just a quick clarification, is it just a delay in the contract that was from the vendor, or is it?
There's a paperwork issue that's gonna, that we need to.
Okay.
Okay. Colleagues, any other questions on this? Okay, and since I guess we pulled it, we'll see if there's any members of the public that wish to comment. Seeing none, anything online? Okay, then we will go ahead and remove this item off the consent calendar. Do we have to do any more formal proceeding on that? All right, and we will move right along. Thank you for that. Moving on to item 10A, we have the introduction of an ordinance that amends sections of our municipal code regarding parking restrictions on Airport Boulevard. And it's over to our fearless city attorney.
Thank you. Good evening, council. I'm going to come in front of you so I can see all of you. But what we have in front of you tonight is a proposed ordinance that would clean up some conflicts that we have in our code. Currently, we have two provisions in our code that regulate parking on Airport Boulevard. The goal of the proposed ordinance is to resolve that conflict and correct it to reflect the current parking conditions as they are today. So that's the goal of the proposed ordinance. What you're seeing on the screen are the two provisions that do regulate parking on Airport Boulevard. The first one says that it is unlawful to park anywhere on Airport Boulevard at any time. The second one, however, says that you may park on Airport Boulevard on the east side from Beach Road to Fisherman's Park anytime except from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., right? I.e. no overnight parking on that segment, but otherwise you may park on Airport Boulevard. So those two provisions are the ones in conflict, and that's the conflict that we want to resolve. If you can go to the next slide. The area that we want to focus you on here is shown on the map. You're seeing that the two highlighted areas are Beach Road at the top and then Lang Road at the bottom. Currently there is, on the street right now, if you were to go out there, there is signage out there that allows for some parking on Airport Boulevard in that area between Beach and Lang. And again, the goal of the proposed ordinance amendment is to codify the current conditions. If you can go to the next slide, please, Megan. Thank you. This is what the parking parking signage is right now, and this is where we want to get to. The proposed ordinance would allow for parking in the areas that are in green, except for the hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So no overnight parking in those green areas, but allowed parking during the day. And then no parking in all the areas that are striped red. And then the ordinance would also prohibit parking on all other parts of Airport Boulevard. So that's all that the ordinance does. And again, the goal is to resolve the conflict between the two code sections and to formalize what's actually out there now. A couple other notes. There was a mistake in the staff report that discussed how parking on Airport Boulevard is currently regulated. So we apologize for that mistake there. The staff report says that parking is allowed on Airport Boulevard overnight in that area. It should have said that parking is prohibited in that area. So we apologize for that mistake. The other thing I'd like to point out to the council is that the Traffic Safety Commission considered this proposed ordinance at their last meeting, and they recommended that the council adopt it. So that's the end of my presentation. Our recommended procedure is that you take public comment, ask any questions, and then adopt the first reading. And I'm available for any questions from the council.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Appreciate that. Before we open up and conduct our public hearing, could you just go back to the first slide, please? So this is the code this is as it exists right now.
As it exists today.
Okay. No parking at any time. It is unlawful.
And
Between
obviously
10
the,
PM and 6 AM. Okay, thank you.
and obviously the first section.
Wait, let's,
I-
we're gonna take turns here to asking questions. Councilmember Stevenson, go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Historically, and I know Traffic and Safety recommended this correction and conflict in the code. Has there been any safety issues because of the parking? And is the parking necessary for any of those local businesses, or is it mostly just drivers who want to come visit the shoreline there?
I will ask our fearless Public Works Director to provide that kind of information.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, Council. The answer is that the parking is primarily used by the beach access purposes, and it was required originally by BCDC as part of the improvements along Airport Boulevard.
Okay.
Yeah, businesses do, they have parking on Beach Road themselves and Lang Road as well. They don't park on Airport Boulevard.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brownrigg, did you have a question?
That's, I withdraw my, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions from colleagues? Seeing none. I guess I have one question of staff. Is there any location on Airport Boulevard that does allow for overnight parking?
No, there isn't any place on Airport Boulevard that allows for overnight parking. Overnight parking is allowed in other areas of the city, such as in the North Rollins area, for example, but nowhere on Airport.
Okay. All right. With that, if there are no other questions, we are going to open up and conduct a public hearing at this time, and we will see if there's any comments from the public in the room or online. Seeing nobody approaching the dais or the podium, we'll ask City Clerk.
I have an email. It says, "Good evening. I appreciate this item, which aims to clarify the parking regulations per the city's municipal code. I'm glad attention is being made to this area. I'm hoping this change could be packaged with another needed change to the city's code, namely the update to the speed limit on Airport Boulevard. The code, section 13.24.010, still says the speed limit on this portion of Airport Boulevard is still 35 miles per hour. But the roadway has been reconfigured now for almost 3 years now, so it is not as straight as before. There's now an S-curve section through the Meta campus, through 2 signals, through a speed table with flashing lights for pedestrians and bicycle riders to cross. Drivers who go at 35 or even 30 through there will get into a crash. I hope you will consider. There's also a plan apparently to remove a crosswalk at Airport and Beach that hasn't been publicly vetted. It was part of the contract you approved last month. There's also a street light that's missing at the same corner. At any rate, the attention to this area's safety is very welcome. Thank you." He then references, this is from Manito, he references section 13.24.010, 35 miles per hour. No person shall drive a vehicle upon any of the following designated streets at a speed greater than 35 miles per hour. It is determined that the speed limitation hereby established is most appropriate to facilitate the orderly movement of traffic and is reasonable and safe. 1 Airport Boulevard between Old Bay Shore Highway and Lang Road.
Thank you for that public comment. Seeing there are no other public comments, we will close the public hearing. And before we discuss this, it seems, Mr. City Attorney, the other safety issues related to Airport Boulevard are not on the agenda tonight, so that would have to be taken if staff makes that recommendation at a future agenda item. Is
Correct.
that accurate? Okay.
Correct.
All right. Any other closing comments or questions colleagues would like to? Seeing none, I guess the one thing I would maybe make a comment is as we operationalize this, it certainly makes sense to deconflict the signage out there and the different things in our code. If staff sees that as we operationalize this, if there is a need to have some section of Airport Boulevard have overnight parking, I think, I would be interested in and certainly open to that conversation. And I think our council would open to entertaining that policy discussion at a future date if that seems like a staff recommendation. So seeing that, colleagues, do we have consensus or a motion to bring it back for a second reading and adoption?
We'll make a motion to carry it back with a second reading.
Thank you, Councilmember Stevenson. And a second from Councilmember Ortiz. Do we need a roll call vote on this as well? Okay, for the record.
Councilmember Brownrigg,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson,
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Yes.
Mayor Beach, or Vice Mayor
You
Beach.
guys are promoting me tonight. Yes,
You are.
Vice Mayor. Yes. All right, so that passes unanimously. Item number 11, staff reports and communications. Additional comment. I don't think we have any other additional items right here. Council committee and activities reports and announcements. Colleagues, do we have anything we'd like to share?
Madam
Sure.
Mayor, if I may, I'd just like to pass along, I was walking our dog and unbidden, a neighbor wanted me to specifically asked me to go to City Hall and tell Public Works what an amazing job the sewer and storm drain people are doing. And nothing has backed up so far despite this torrential downpour, and yet another grateful resident. So I wanted to pass that along.
Thank you. Tough time of year and for the Public Works and the Parks Department, but we certainly, and Public Safety as well, but we certainly appreciate all their hard work. Any other items from committee assignments or seeing none? Okay, we are moving right along. This is maybe a record meeting. Future agenda items. Anything we'd like to consider? Seeing none? Iceberg. That means no future agenda items from Councilmember Ortiz. Item 14, any acknowledgements? We've got all these other minutes. We are about to adjourn. Is there anybody that we've lost since our last meeting that we should adjourn in memory of? I'm unaware of them as well. Well, with that, unless Madam City Manager, if there's anything remaining, I think we have a record-breaking meeting tonight at 7:23. We will thank you for joining us, and we will call this meeting adjourned. Have a good evening.
You.